On Tuesday, 5 Americans who had been unfairly detained in Iran for years made an emotional return to American land. At 5:25 a.m. AT, a jet carrying the 5 Americans and 2 of their relatives landed at a military airstrip close to Washington, D.C. They had flown in from the Gulf nation of Qatar, which made the transfer easier. The gang was released as part of a prisoner swap deal that saw the release of 5 Iranian citizens from American detention, as well as Tehran receiving access to $6 billion in oil profits that had been suspended as a result of U.S. sanctions. A year has passed since Mahsa Amini's death, which caused a wave of domestic upheaval, and despite increased tensions between the two countries over a number of topics, including Iran's uranium enrichment program and crackdown on internal dissent, a rare high-stakes agreement was reached this weekend. When the freed Americans exited the aircraft to meet their loved ones, there were touching scenes on the tarmac. Many of them waved miniature American flags as they tenderly embraced. The ex-convicts then shouted "Freedom" as they posed for a group shot with their families. The special presidential envoy for hostage problems, Roger Carstens, said, "We've all been waiting for this day." He declared that the team will maintain the fight to free additional American citizens who were being held overseas. The 51-year-old Siamak Namazi served the longest sentence of the 5 American convicts, totaling nearly 8 years in prison. He was detained in 2015 on suspicion of espionage, and after a brief trial, he was found guilty. A 59-year-old businessman from Iran who immigrated to the United States as a young man was detained in 2018. Despite his release and exoneration from all charges in 2019, Iranian authorities kept his passport, and in 2020 he was accused of spying again and found guilty without a trial. Morad Tabaz, a 67-year-old Iranian-American with dual British citizenship, is a third ex-convict. He was detained in 2018 and found guilty of spying in 2019. He was a member of a team of environmental activists conducting research on Iran's threatened Shia population. According to U.S. officials, the families of the 2 other former inmates have asked that their identities not be revealed. Also flying from Qatar were 2 anonymous family members. Human rights organizations charge Iran with falsely accusing the inmates of espionage, but Iran claims they were treated legally. The agreement was reached as President Joe Biden and Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi prepared to attend the United Nations General Assembly, which will be held in New York on Tuesday. Republicans have criticized Biden for approving a deal that they claim amounts to a ransom payment and will likely just inspire Tehran to jail more foreigners. The administration has insisted that Iran will only be allowed to spend the money that has been unblocked by the United States for purchasing food, medicine, or other necessities for the poor. Tehran will choose how to use the $6 billion, Raisi said in an exclusive interview with Lester Holt of NBC News. "Wherever we need it," he stated, "is where the money will be used."